Hi, it's me, Sarah Cummins of Waterfall Yoga Therapy, and I just took a little hike back into the back of the property towards the waterfall. It is nice and quiet right now because it's all dried up, but it's still peaceful and beautiful. And so I came out here to tell my story, to tell you the story of how kind of Waterfall Yoga came to be and how I ended up here in New Market, Alabama, outside of Huntsville. So it's a pretty incredible story. I always hear from people that they get chill bumps listening to it. So I thought I would share with those of you who haven't heard the story in a while, or for those of you that have never heard the story. So it was a God thing. Some people would say it was manifestation. Some people would say that it was the universe kind of directing me on a path towards my dharma or my purpose. And I would say that it's all of those things. I mean, to be honest, I believe that all of those things are one and the same. And no matter what you believe, the story is pretty incredible. So it was probably around December of 2013, my husband and I had decided that we wanted to make Alabama our forever home. And it was the first place that we felt that we really missed when we left it. And we've lived all over the place. So for us to have that feeling, that sensation that this was it, was pretty incredible. So we decided to get a real estate agent and come up towards the Huntsville area because Huntsville was growing and it had kind of progressive thoughts, really great schools, and it was beautiful. It's kind of in the Smoky Hills and kind of where the Appalachians meet the Smoky Hills. So it's gorgeous and still not too far from the beach. And we got the real estate agent. We came in December, so it had been really rainy, very kind of gloomy the whole weekend we were here, and we hunted around and we didn't find anything that we loved. It was the day that we were supposed to be headed back to Montgomery, and we decided to take this road in the Hurricane Valley that we kind of kept missing when we drove past it. So we slowed down, and it's kind of a grove of trees covering the road. We go up this really steep hill to the very top, and then crest the top and start coming down the hill. And at the bottom of the hill, there was a for sale sign on a piece of property. So we pulled into the field and stepped out of the car, and we could hear running water. And it was just so peaceful. And I'm not even lying. My husband will tell you the same story. He had the same experience. The clouds kind of parted, and the rays of sunshine came down on this valley floor where our house now sits. And all around it, 360-degree view of the hills. It was absolutely stunning. And the only thing missing were kind of angels singing. So we decided to contact the person selling the property and got with our realtor. And of course, all the paperwork takes a while. So we went back home, and our real estate agent one day decided that she was going to hike the property with her son. So they came out here in probably January and hiked back to the back of the property, and she came upon the waterfall behind me and texted us when she got cell service and said, "Did you know that there's a full-blown waterfall on your property?" And we were like, had no idea. We thought it was running water from the creek. And so really cool, right? She's kind of sent the pictures and was all iced over because it was wintertime, so it was beautiful. So around that time, I was getting my yoga teacher training and graduating, and I was doing the work to start up an LLC, a business. And I needed a name for my business. So my husband said, well, if that's the place we plan to live forever, how about we call it Waterfall Yoga? And I thought, that's pretty cool. So we decided to name my business Waterfall Yoga. Around that same time, I witnessed a car accident that I saw a woman pass away before my eyes. And they aren't kidding when they tell you that time just slows down when you're in a moment like that. And I was probably driving 70 miles an hour on the interstate, and it was like time stood still, and I was there with her in that moment. By the time I got home, I was obviously pretty shook up, and my husband, who has PTSD, told me, I'll never forget that moment. I will never forget that image. So he was right, but I decided to take a turn with yoga and move into something that was more therapeutic. And I ran into a woman named Liz Campbell, who became my mentor, and she told me about yoga therapy. And so that kind of led me on a path. Of course, we were moving a few more times, so I started and stopped my business in all these different places. And when I finally was back in the United States, I joined a yoga therapy school and took training, and it was incredible. Changed my life. And so during that training, I was studying things like yoga therapy for chronic pain, yoga therapy for cancer recovery, and grief and anxiety and depression, and also yoga for addiction. And it was during a meditation that one of my yoga therapy teachers, Mr. Galila, was teaching a meditation on a peaceful place. And I've always done meditations. My peaceful place is always a waterfall. And so I had this epiphany during the meditation that I have always found peace with a waterfall. My meditations, my safe place, my peaceful place in my mind was always a waterfall. And I remembered that when I was a little girl, I used to draw pictures of waterfalls and write short stories of waterfalls. And even when I was a teenager, I'd written poetry about waterfalls. And so that epiphany that happened during the meditation was pretty incredible. I realized that all along I had been directed towards this path of a waterfall. And I had bought a piece of property, 20 acres of property. I had no idea had a waterfall on it that was as big and majestic as this one. And so after the meditation, I was just kind of in awe, like almost in shock that this had manifested before me. And I had a lot of questions and I had a lot of thoughts, but I was mostly just in awe of it all and how blessed and grateful I was. So now, as a yoga therapist, I'm sitting on my property. I'm living here. I am walking the 10 or so acres that's not back in the woods. And I am just in a surreal place of, I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe this is real. And so I guess my story is just to say, you can manifest everything. You can believe that God provides. You can believe that the universe has a purpose for you and will lay out the clues on the path of that journey that you're supposed to take. And some of us get misdirected and some of us get lost, and that's okay. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, wants you to find that path, wants you to find where you belong. And I hope that through everything that you've been through, that you have an open heart and open mind, and that you're always listening and willing to accept and walk through doors that are scary or that are uncomfortable, because there is something great and perfect out there for you, and you are enough and you deserve it. And I hope that the story brings you some peace in knowing that. I hope that I will see some of you out here on a retreat very soon. I hope that maybe you come as a private client and you get to explore the property too as well, and just feel some of the peace and serenity and beauty that I feel out here being in nature every day. It really does heal your soul. So thanks for taking the time to listen, and I hope you look me up. I have a website, waterfallyogallc.com, and many plans and events coming. So stay tuned.